is a well-known poet in New York and very noted translator of Russian poetry into English. A lot of interesting work in translating minimalist poetry, as a matter of fact. And I always say that, I hope you don't mind that, in the 90s for 10 years, he published a very interesting avant-garde magazine, Synesthetic, which was actually Synesthetic magazine of arts, poetry, visual arts, and all this, which was kind of a probably original for a lot of magazines that are being published now. And literary scholar, Alex?
I'm really taking a trip down memory lane. I don't know where to begin. I was going to begin with Joseph Brodsky, but I guess the anthology first. I just want to say, so Larissa did a great job. The key is that we tried to do only just the last decade, post 2000. And it's still only 1/10 and maybe 100 of what's out there. So, and it's very difficult to publish an anthology. I was part of a big project that involved literally hundreds of people, and we could mention John High and Tom Epstein and Gerald Janacek and Daniel Weisbord, who passed away this year, and it's a story that goes back 20, 30 years. And so in this anthology, I've done 2 of these readings for this anthology already before, so I'm not going to read the same thing. I just want to mention the poets. Part of it, so these 5 poets came out of my one of my projects with Siberian poetry, and one of the things we just in the in the magazine, the Talisman Anthology, we limited ourselves to the last quarter century since '75. And managed to put in 88 poets. And it was very difficult to limit ourselves to 88. There could have been 200 in there. So, I want to cry. It's so hard. So, the poets in this anthology that we contributed were Siberian poets who didn't get represented, not all of them originally, but they're actually the most prominent one. It's Alexander Rolanov, who's from Samara. Vadim Mesets, originally from Tomsk. Ilya Krieger is a little bit younger. He's about 10 years younger. He went to our law school in Arkhangelsk. He's not really a Siberian person, but he fits in. But there's so many others. And then we just wanted to have 2 young poets. They're Misha's age. So there's a school in Nizhny Nagil. And the 2 young poets are Ruslan Kamadei and Vida Korneva, and they're both literally just out of college. They're great for their age. And I've read before all their work that's in the anthology and more, and I've surprised Alexei Tsitkov with my translations that I did of his poems. And today I would like to read something I'm working on right now, which is Mikhail Eremin, and I've read some of the early ones, and now I have 30 of them done, so they're just so beautiful, they make me cry. No, really. So I focused on the early ones, and now I've done the middle ones and the late ones, and I'll read a few from each. So I'll start with the early ones, because it really is the whole body of work. To search out in the autumn's autograph the sidelong seeds of pre-wisdom, the original form of expansiveness, the all-Russian holiness and vagueness, and the craneally spiciness of swamps, where the mud had left its traces, where the leaves, like wild onions' dresses, hide their tears in their bleeds. 1957. The seamstress is stitching on the sewing machine just like the rain does, the blue with the green, for the rain that is fractured by the windows like the cattails by a rowboat trammeled. Beyond the window the thunder coughs, to the window cling drops of rain, each one half green and half blue. 1957. This one's dedicated to L. Lifshitz. They're the red-haired alchemist of the snow. In the sky as upon the book of doves, the Jewish grammar of the birch grove, the ravines are as black as rabbis, the rivers full of ore splinters, and in the owl-eyed sockets of the silos like a mouse spring rustles. These are all from 57, 58. So. Fallow field. The fallow field sumptuously plowed like a ball rolled under the heel of a foot among chamomile flowers, the callow complaining of the screech owl at the pike. Some organism disguised as a half-cat bathes and coats itself in mug and mud, and the pike slumbers like a cornice, twisting and turning beneath the paw. Melons, like bottom-dwelling fish, have an auspicious color, elongated form. The drainage trench that bathes the lemons waters with mountain moisture their roots. Branches twist like the necks of geese under the burden of apples' weight of quince. The sun that instigated an inspection is awestruck by the harvest's plenty. And the last of the early ones, the builder of the first bridge in the world hauled logs and planks to the construction site, fitted the span, and thus arrived the hour of the very first crossing. The carpenter placed his elbows on the rail, endowed with a pipe his happy face, splashed on his shirt the beard's whitewash. Thus, bridge building became the craft of the fathers. And these are from the middle period. I'll have to start skipping. Animals shoe themselves, so this is from the 60s and 70s. Animals shoe themselves in snow prints or plod and creep into their den and lair. Plants are rushed headlong by the cold into the labyrinths of their roots and bulbs. People shrink to the dimensions of shoe size, characterized by the reservoirs of a Tao. Under the ice, as under the warm sky, photo field, photo wood, photo summer. And I had a problem with translating Ladia in that one. I don't know, is it a kayak or a pirogue or it has to have a sail, but the Tao and the junk are they like the only ones that have sails. To a Eremin, I guess. To return to the Creator, his gifts wrapped in retinal transparency, and the net of deadwood in which the caught imprisoned void trembles, and the anti-cupola of the liquid sky, and the anti-chalice of the anthill, with its swarming, squirming surface corpuscularly wave beset. Above the stagnant pond's mirror surface, where the pike's flank is pierced crimson by a desiccated bow, splintered by the wind only the following spring, the moss-covered trunk of one of many pines above the velour puddle. To this day, the fish and the animal thrive here. God, R, the divisor he, and the numerator his, to him, through him, and of about. The narrows, so I'm winding down, so a couple more middle ones, and then maybe 5. I'm trying to read 5 from each period. The narrow path's point of origin forgotten, an alleyway or a shortcut terminating at a pond, with its lakeside teeming of life and flora, Veins of tree roots sheathed blue in coagulated blood. Among the thistle, a white boulder shivering shrugs its shoulder. Canopy foliage murmur as though not pronounced before a pronoun, and nobody, and tenderness. So these are from the 70s, and I'll read a few from the 80s and a few late ones. So this is 80s. And I journeyed entirely as though he whose life is it not but the cup, with that slight crack, whose see-through filament has since God's creation been inscribed in kaolin, the sole witness of this, what is visible to us in